So full disclosure, I feel like the previous episode was awful. And I'm going to blame it on just being overworked and overtired. However, I went back and I reloaded because I wasn't happy with the conversation with Liara, and I don't do this very often. Usually I just stick with my choices, but I'm not happy with the conversation with Liara or Miranda. However, I have gone back and done the Caden and James conversations, just did them exactly like they were before. But we're gonna come down, talk to Liara, and actually like fix what was going on there. Who did we? Let's just support him.
Civilians shooting at anything that moves make
Oh, and I rebought the armor, even though I may not use it long term.
You sure you don't want to do something a little more exciting?
I love this part of the Presidium. It reminds me of where I grew up.
See, I'm gonna be less condescending to her this time.
I'm Molly, back on Thessia. My mother and I lived beside a park. I spent hours there.
Doing what?
Reading, exploring, getting in trouble digging for ruins in the grass.
You're kidding.
I was very young.
So, like before, I said kids do dumb things, or kids are kind of cute. I'm gonna stick with kids do dumb things.
We all do stupid things as kids.
There's no denying that, but in a way, I was lucky. My mother scolded me, but she also bought me my first history book the next day. I miss her, Shepard.
What was she like?
She was confident and kind. She loved to wear yellow. I thought she was the most beautiful woman in the world.
You'll be okay, Liara.
Maybe you're right. Thank you, Shepard. I feel better. I wish we could spend more time together like this. Just friends.
Friends doesn't cut it for me anymore, Liara.
Well, that sounds serious.
I am serious. Whatever happens, I'd like to spend my life with you.
Then you're extremely lucky that I feel that way too.
I know.
See, and that was where it was kind of weird before, was that I felt like, oh, Paramore 2. Yeah, I kind of feel like we, like that was already the case. I felt like we possibly had already even had that conversation with her. Obviously not here, but like back on the ship. But apparently her and I, not on the same page, because when I just accidentally hit the button before, it just ended it. It was just kind of felt out of like left field. It feels like if a real person in the real world had a relationship like these two do, and then all of a sudden it's just like, nah, I just want to be friends. It's like after all of the conversations they have had together, Liara would be like, wait, what do you mean? Like, where is this coming from? And there would be like a really long conversation, or maybe a really short conversation, depending on what, but she would be a little bit more flabbergasted, and that wasn't the case. So it was just kind of odd. It was very, very odd, and it just super threw me off.
I got your message, Miranda. Is this about your sister?
And this time,
Shepard,
we're going to
I
help her
need
sister.
access to Alliance resources. I can't say any more. You'll just have to trust me.
I don't like secrets, Miranda. Just tell me what's going on.
I can't, Shepard. If that's a problem, I'll go.
Don't. Trust is a little hard to come by right now.
Of course.
You'll have your access, Miranda, but I don't like the sound of this.
I know, and thank you. It means a lot.
Are we still going to have the same conversation
That's not the only
afterwards?
thing you wanted to talk about, is it?
Yeah, okay.
No. I need to tell you something.
Well, I'm going to assume that this is all the same. Yeah, it is. Okay, so we can just skip over all this.
I understand why you wanted to.
I've never had to deal with that many black boxes on a project. I felt blind.
Although I hit the wrong one. This feels
Why
different.
bring that up now?
I fought against my father and his need to run every aspect of my life. He wanted total control.
No, that's it. This is
after
the
I
same.
got out of there.
We're just going to skip
This
this.
is what's been bothering.
But it's
Miranda,
funny
you
that
changed me. I don't know how.
this little conversation, what's done is done.
Apology.
Yes, we do.
Something?
Guess my fancy.
No.
Okay.
Try not to spam through it because I don't want to hit an extra option that might be there.
Don't worry, Shepard.
Okay, so yeah, finally I give her access, so then she's not going to be so pissed off at me. Look, again, I apologize. Last episode, bad episode. I don't know why those conversations just didn't go the way that they normally do with those characters. I don't think I've ever redone a conversation in this entire playthrough. Like I said, I stick with my guns 99% of the time, apparently. It was just weird. It was just weird. So I wasn't happy with it. But I'm man enough to admit when I made a mistake and I thought it was wrong. And I don't think any of you guys complained, which is totally fine. It was just, I watched it back while editing. I was like, man, this is bad. And then it wasn't until today when I was thinking like, oh, what am I going to record for my video today? I was like, you know what? I really should just go back and redo that. So yeah, that was the choice.
Shepard, glad you came.
What'd you have in mind?
Something that doesn't involve fighting Reapers.
That's hard to find these days. I suppose we could catch a Hanar poetry reading.
No offense, but if the end of the galaxy is coming, I'm not going out on the phrase, "This one feels like a flower."
So?
So, I had an idea.
Oh, you know what? I remember this.
Where are we going?
I just had a flashback.
Somewhere we're not supposed to.
Yeah, I just had a
Some
flashback.
things never change, do they?
Ever have that one thing you always wanted to do before you died, Shepard?
Too busy trying to live. What's yours?
The whole time I worked at CSEC, I'd stare up at the top of the Presidium and say to myself, I want to go up there. But I never did. There were 137 regulations telling me I couldn't.
So you got them changed?
No. Now I just don't give a damn. Figured it's time to do something stupid just for the hell of it. Might be the last chance we ever get. A little busier than I imagined.
How about a dive in the pool?
Quite the jump.
You obviously haven't seen Turians swim. It's a lot of flailing and splashing interrupted by occasional bouts of drowning.
Yeah, you're right. I just have to save your ass again.
It'd make up for all the times I pulled your ass out of the fire. Noveria, Pharos, Ilos. We've had a hell of a ride, haven't we, Shepard?
How do I want to? You know what? Let's just be genuine. I think these conversations are a reflection of Shepard realizing that the end is near, whether that be victory or death. And she's been kind of a hard ass this entire game, this entire 3 games. And that's how I've been playing her, and that's kind of the personality that we've chosen for our Shepard, and I think it works, and the Renegade playthrough has been a lot of fun. However, even in these moments, I think the heart comes out a bit.
Times like these, you know who your real friends are. They're not the ones running around looking for an escape route. They're the ones who stand at your side through the worst of it. Who never give up on you. I'm lucky I can say I know someone like that.
So am I. You're not going to propose marriage now, are you?
You talked to Liara then.
Now, before we head back, there is one thing we're going to settle. Once and for all. I'm not saying you don't know how to handle a gun, just saying some of us know how to make it dance. So,
More of a
let's find
shotgun
out who's really the best shot.
person.
There are a few people in the galaxy who've seen me in action, Garrus. They seemed impressed.
Yeah, but I've actually seen you dance, Shepard. No comment.
All right, Vicarian, you're going down.
And don't worry, I loaded it with practice slugs for when you miss. That was an easy one. Let you build up your confidence. Long range, I wrote the book. Nobody alive can do this, not even Commander Shepard. Give me a tough one.
Am I going to get a prompt? I was hoping for a prompt.
I said a tough one.
Step aside.
Miss on purpose? No, we're gonna shoot the target.
Do it.
We're cocky.
Nobody alive, maybe. But technically, I died.
Yeah, well, next time we'll throw in a herd of rampaging cliques, and that's how you separate the rookies from the pros.
Yeah, it's weird how, you know, when you play a game that you haven't played in many years, and things like that, special moments like that come back to you. And I've had this mission to come do this thing with Garrus for a while now, and it never went to that. Like, I never considered that was what it was going to be until we got in the speeder, and then I was like, oh, it just all came back to me. If you had asked me, even like you know, outside of the game, being like, hey, what is the cool scene with Garrus and Shepard, I wouldn't have been able to name it. But it was just in that moment, seeing the speeder, it's like all came flooding back. Let's take a look real quick. I think maybe actually there is. So Arya is in the VIP lounge, and so is Joker. You know what? Let's run there real quick too, and get that done. I think
I've got your briefing, Private. Let's fill you in before the squad arrives.
I think that would then wrap this up on the Citadel, so we could go do the Quarian mission, which I am so excited for. Let's go to Purgatory. I'm serious when I say that Quarian mission is one of my favorites in all of Mass Effect. In the entirety of the 4 games that are currently out as I'm recording this, is one of my favorite missions. It is freaking fantastic. And I love that the choice that they give you, which if you haven't seen it, you will see it, feels super weighty. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, let's talk to Arya and be like, why are you here? Why are you not back at Omega?
It seems the galaxy can't keep us apart. Since we took back Omega, I've been consolidating my resources for the war. It's a little easier to coordinate from here. So unfortunately, I'll be slumming it on the Citadel for the time being. The Blue Suns, Bloodpack, and Eclipse are in my pocket. I'll send them to war when you're ready for them.
Cool.
Is there anything on your mind?
My new task force? Or let's talk about Omega.
How's the rebuilding going on Omega?
People understand the first order of business is shoring up defenses. No one wants another invasion. So they're enduring valiantly, not that they have a choice. Once again, I am Omega.
Right.
What exactly have I acquired?
An army that's willing to fight dirty, to do the things your respectable militaries won't do. Eclipse Mechs and Vorcha Legions are excellent candidates for vanguards in any ground offensive. Well worth the little song and dance I had you perform, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably. Let's go ahead and
Whatever
leave.
you say, Arya.
Don't be a stranger.
I don't really feel like there's much more conversation to be had there. I mean, we just spent an entire DLC with her, and now that's done. Which Joker? Oh, he's like right in front of us, isn't he? All right, let's go chat with him. See what he's got going on.
Look at this. All it took was a Cerberus attack on the Citadel to get folks around here to pay attention to the war.
How's this any different from normal?
Can't you see the desperation? This isn't happy dancing. This is forget my problems dancing. Look at the arms. If a guy waves his arms like that, he's worrying about a lot more than looking stupid on the dance floor.
That's surprisingly observant.
I've had time to watch a lot of dancing from the sidelines. Speaking of which,
Dancing?
watching from the sidelines. What do you think about me and Edie?
Sure.
Why not?
Because I could break a bone just from some light over the clothes action?
It's always a risk. But then so are the Reapers.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on dating Harbinger.
I mean,
You know what I mean.
why not?
If we all ended up dead this time tomorrow, what would you regret?
Getting a shattered pelvis and a broken heart. Such a stupid idea.
If you could be out there right now on the dance floor, would you be waving your arms?
Yeah,
Sounds like you got bigger things to worry about than looking stupid.
Oh, good
Yeah,
advice.
guess I do.
Oh, freaking good advice,
Now,
Shepard.
if you'll excuse me.
And you know what? I think that's advice for everybody. That's life advice right there. Holy crap. Because, yeah, us as human beings, we're not fighting the Reapers, right? In our world, it's that is simply sci-fi, at least for now. The thing, though, is we tend to make our problems seem much bigger than they are.
Spectre status recognized. Please
And
select a destination.
in particular with trying to
1 moment, please.
have a relationship with somebody. And I noticed this a lot within the gamer sphere. It's gone down a little bit, but it's still fairly prominent.
Have you discovered a way to run FTL spaces
Where
without an ego core
people tend to
Then consider this
chicken out of talking to people because they feel like, oh, I'm gonna look stupid, I'm gonna get turned down, I'm gonna do this, do that, like all of this like negative stuff. And they don't really consider that, you know, they could die in a car accident the next day. And I think the best advice ever, it was just given by Shepard. You know, we have bigger things to worry about than whether we look stupid or not. Nobody died of embarrassment. Nobody's ever died of embarrassment. But I will say one thing. You as a human being are never going to embarrass yourself enough to warrant death. And the reason I say that is because all of the other problems you have in life are so much more significant than you being embarrassed for a short amount of time. Whether it be a yes or a no answer from a person that you were trying to woo, if you woo them, you're going to be much happier. If you don't woo them, you might be embarrassed for like 5 to 10 minutes, maybe a little longer. Maybe it's going to be one of those situations where you try to ask somebody out, they say no, and then 2 weeks from now, you think about it while you're laying in bed trying to fall asleep, and then you can't fall asleep. And then you're just sitting there just like with a scrunched up poopy face, like someone farted in a jar, and you can't fall asleep. It happens. It happens. You know what I mean? All right, we got our armor thing. I need to go put it on. And then we'll go do our, is it engineering? Shuttle bay. Yeah, then we'll go do our mission.
Love the M35 Mako.
Where's the
It's kinda
armor
hard,
thing?
you know?
So
Come on.
let's try the Reckoner.
Hammerhead is vastly superior.
Come on, that
Of
thing's
course,
made of tissue.
because we
baby.
reloaded,
At least the Mako can-
they're having that whole conversation over again, but it's fine. So where do we go from here? We have to back this up, leave orbit. Woo. To go to mass relay. Oh, actually, you know what just popped into my head? This will sound kind of weird, but I was watching the Bad Batch. So I've completely watched through Clone Wars, and now at this point I've completely watched through Bad Batch minus the second season, which as of recording this is not available. It hasn't come out yet. And then I've now started Rebels. But while watching the Bad Batch, because I was watching an episode that Cad Bane happens to be in, which if you don't know who Cad Bane is, basically really cool bounty hunter dude with a cowboy hat. It's like very Western, Cad Bane is, and he has a robot, and that little robot is kind of cute and everything, but Cad Bane treats the robot like crap. And somehow the robot just kind of keeps going along with it. And this robot is in basically the story for Cad Bane, as far as I can tell, from the first time he comes into Clone Wars all the way through to the Bad Batch and maybe beyond. I don't know. I haven't seen Cad Bane in something after that yet. But the thing is, that little droid, this is all going to make sense in a second. I had just gotten done playing Mass Effect when I saw that episode in the Bad Batch, and that droid is voiced by Seth Green, which obviously is the voice for Joker. And it was like, I recognize that voice. What's going on with that voice? Oh, I was doing that kind of thing. I'm like, oh, who is that? And then it dawned on me. I was like, wait a second. I know who that is. And I double checked it just to make sure, because he does a slightly different voice for the robot. And yeah, sure enough, nailed it. He's totally the robot.